This week on Skeeter Bass Champs, it's the best of the last 20 years. That's right, we're going to take a look back starting at 2002 at the beginning of Bass Champs television. We'll take a look at the best of times and the worst of times, all on Bass Champs TV, and it starts right now.
Hi, welcome to another edition of the Skeeter Bass Champs television show. I'm John McCalmont, and it's our best of 2005, wrapping up our third season of the Skeeter Bass Champs television show. And in fact, this is our 45th episode. Can you believe it? 45 episodes of the Skeeter Bass Champs Tournament Trail, and we've done so much and we've come so far. So on this show, what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump back and look a little bit in the past. We're gonna look at all of the first things we've ever done on the Skeeter Bass Champs television show. And we're gonna jump and look a little bit into the future. So we've got a great show planned for you, a lot of great stuff, and also, of course, just a little bit of fun. All that and more on this episode of the Skeeter Bass Champs television show. It's gonna be a great one. Don't go anywhere.
Come on, big boy. There we go, boy. Good job.
In 1997, Chad Potts and Jeff Welch created the Bass Champs Tournament Organization, hosting amateur fishing events throughout the state of Texas. And when Skeeter Boats came aboard as the title sponsor, Bass Champs became the largest team tournament circuit in the nation, boasting the richest guaranteed payback in grassroots competition. So if you love bass fishing and you want to have a great time competing in the biggest team tournaments and big fish competitions, it's time to join us at Bass Champs.
You know, it seems like just yesterday that I got together with President Chad Potts and Vice President Jeff Welch to talk about doing the Bass Champs television show, doing a competition show around a team event. And it was a big undertaking at the time, and we made it even bigger by shooting it in high definition. This is actually the first fishing show, competition fishing show, ever shot in 1080i high definition. It was a big risk we took at the time, but it was a big reward too, because we've had so much fun doing it. So we thought, hey, why don't we go back and look at those first two interviews with Chad and Jeff way back when we started the Skeeter Bass Champs television show. Let's check out a little clip of that right now. And it says that you guys are the #1 tournament trail in North Texas now.
Yeah, we've been doing real well, actually. We're in our third year now and drawing around 180 boats on average. And so.
Now, wait a minute, Chad didn't tell me if I took your job I couldn't fish.
Guaranteed. You take my job, I'll fish. And man, it'll be a great deal.
You know, after watching those clips, I think the only thing that has changed about the show since we shot it back then is the fact that, well, Jeff and Chad and myself too, I think we were a little bit skinnier back then than we are now. I think that's the biggest change. I'm talking big. You know, it was a big first for us then to shoot the first episode of the Bass Champs television show, and also the first show ever shot in high definition like that, the first competition bass fishing show. So those are some firsts. And here's another first for you. We did the first international fish off this year, the United States versus Mexico. We got to go down to Tamaulipas, fish wonderful Lake Guerrero, an incredible fishery, and it's the first time that we ever had a competition television show featuring people from the United States against people from Mexico. It was incredible, not only because of that, but we also featured the Mexican anglers on the show speaking in Spanish. Didn't know what they were saying. We had to get a translator into the edit suite so we could find out what we were editing. Turned out to not only be an incredible experience, but a great show. Let's check out the highlights of that right now.
A lot of big sacks were brought to the scales, and after day one, the United States team found itself down by almost 20 pounds to Equipo Mexicano. Day two saw Team USA mount a tremendous comeback, but they still fell short by 4 pounds.
Well, USA came up short by just 4 pounds. But we did make up a big deficit because we were down by 20 pounds going into the last day. I tell you what, I was not personally prepared for the level of competition that we had down in Mexico. Of course, they were on their home lake, Lake Guerrero, and we had a blast going down there and fishing against them. You know, the first time an international event like that between the United States and Mexico has ever been filmed ever been broadcasted, and it was a great event for everybody concerned.
Skeeter Bass Champs with Fishburne is brought to you by Skeeter. Eat, sleep, fish. Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Berkeley. Catch more fish. Power Pole. Swift, silent, secure. TECHRON. Expect more. James Wood Motors. Visit our family at James Wood in Decatur.
Welcome back to the Skeeter Bass Champs television show's Best of 2005. We're showing a lot of firsts and a lot of great moments from our third season. And this is a great one for you. This is the husband and wife team of the Foytex. They're in our southern region, and on Show Canyon this year, they caught the biggest 5-fish limit in Bass Champs history. I mean, these are the biggest 5 bass I have ever seen weighed in, and I don't know that we'll ever be able to top these 5 fish from Choke Canyon. Let's just look at them. They're huge.
I hear you guys had 36 some odd pounds today.
36, 32.
36, 32. I understand that you ran the boat and caught every one of those. He was just the net man.
Not necessarily.
You got to say that to protect the marriage, right?
Yes.
I got to tell you, these guys set an all-time new record. 36 pounds, 5 fish. It's got to make you proud.
I'm very proud.
Over 36 pounds. Choke Canyon was so on fire this year for the Skeeter Bass Champs Tournament Trail that if you didn't have over 20 pounds, you weren't getting a check. We pay back over 25 places. I mean, just incredible. And the husband and wife team of the Foytex, man, those guys are tough to beat on that lake, and also got to go on our international challenge. They had a great time down there as well. Speaking of great achievements over a weekend, these next 2 guys won 2 Skeeter bass boats in 1 weekend. Let's check it out.
Andy Kaufman and Robert Case Jr. claimed their first boat of the weekend by winning the final regular season event in the North Region at Lake Tawakoni. Up there, and you think you might be able to do it again tomorrow?
We think we got a pretty good shot.
Fishing out of a jet-powered boat, Case and Kaufman were able to get through some pretty skinny water where there were plenty of keepers and few anglers. They took home their second Skeeter bass boat by winning the championship on that day. Are you amazed?
Nah, we pretty much knew we was going to win.
Pretty much knew you were going to win because you guys were on a big sack of fish.
Yeah, we was on a lot of fish.
Okay, so let me recap this a little bit. First, we were the first show ever shot in high definition. Then we had the first international challenge. Then we had the first husband and wife team that caught the biggest 5 fish in Bass Champs history. Now we've got another first. 2 guys winning 2 Skeeter bass boats in 1 weekend. And here comes our biggest first, the first championship for iMatch, our individual match fishing competition. And I gotta tell you, it was an exciting weekend for 4 guys who were all guaranteed to go home with a bass boat. And first place, of course, is no secret now, Kevin Spahn winning a brand new Dodge 1500 and Skeeter SX 200 iMatch. It is the wave of the future in bass fishing. Let's check out some of the highlights from our first championship.
The iMatch individual champions from each of the 4 regions came together at Lake Worth for the first iMatch championship tournament. With only 1 afternoon to practice on our mystery lake, the 4 regional champions struggled somewhat on day 1. East Region champion Bill Wilcox finished in 4th place, taking home a brand new Skeeter SX 170.
I mean, he was eating it.
Central Region champ Charles White had finished in 3rd place, taking home a brand new Skeeter SX 180.
Oh, yeah. Broke the ice, I think.
South Region champ Kevin Spahn stayed alive for day 2, bringing in 4.2 pounds to the scales.
That'll work.
As did North Region champion Rob Burns, weighing in a limit of 10 pounds even.
There we go, that's a keeper.
These 2 regional champions squared off on day 2 for the overall 2005 iMatch Championship.
Nice fish.
At the end of day 2, Kevin Spahn brought in a limit of 10 pounds to the scales, while Rob Burns was only able to weigh in 2 keepers. Burns took home a brand new Skeeter SX 190 for his second place finish, and 2005 iMatch champion Kevin Spahn took home a brand new Skeeter SX 200 as well as a brand new Dodge Ram 1500 pickup.
iMatch, individual match fishing competition. I tell you, it's an innovative way to fish a tournament trail. And speaking of other first, we had 4 high-definition cameras out following those guys. Now, I don't know if that is a legitimate first, but it was a lot of high-definition cameras and a lot of tape rolling for that tournament event. And you can see 4 guys winning 4 Skeeter bass boats, top place getting a truck. Just an incredible event. If you hadn't fished it, you need to check it out at BassChamps.com. Next, speaking of Bass Champs, you know we've got our President's Fish Off every year. We've got President Chad Potts against Vice President Jeff Welch. Now, this was a pivotal year because each one of the guys had won one event, so this was kind of the tiebreaker. And we got to do it down at Lake Guerrero. They both each got a day to practice this year, so they had no excuses. And I gotta tell you, it made for a really interesting weigh-in.
The 3rd annual Skeeter Bass Champs President Fish Off was held in Mexico on Lake Guerrero. President Chad Potts struggled through the short bite to land only 2 keepers.
Hey, uno keeper.
While Vice President Jeff Welch managed a nice limit on the day.
That's what we're talking about right there. That's what we're talking about.
As we found out, catching them is one thing, but weighing them in, something else altogether.
That fish is not going to measure. Let's check the next one to see if we even need him to weigh in. To the scales, 1.56. 1.56.
No, 0.56 now.
0.56. We're at Lake Guerrero.
Yeah, that's the big bass capital of the world.
Nice. 9.94. You're not excited. I was a couple minutes late. 2 minutes late, but you know in President's Cup rules, if you're 1 second late, what happens?
You're disqualified.
0.56 wins it this year. Good Lord.
It's going to be my name again right there, and we'll put Jeff late.
0.56. Can I say that? 0.56. Chad wins it by 0.56. He's lucky he had 2 fish. He's lucky that one weighed a pound 5.6. Of course, you just saw it and you've seen the President's Fish Off. Jeff got DQ'd for coming in late. President's Fish Off rules. You can imagine that we've had several spirited conversations about this over the year since Chad won it by 0.56. Now, to Jeff's defense, it was very windy out there, and my favorite top ace right-hand man, James Buck, who was running camera on the boat that day, actually almost went in the drink because they speared a wave and they were trying to save our camera equipment. A high-definition camera is about an $80,000 piece of equipment, so you know James was not going to come back into the weigh-in without that. Neither was Jeff. So he said he had to slow down, and because he slowed down to save the camera equipment, it caused him to be late. But man, to be beat by 0.56. Woo! Welcome back to the Skeeter Bass Champs television show. I'm John McCalmont, and we're recapping the best moments of 2005. And you just saw Jeff Welch get beat by Chad Potts by 0.56 in our 3rd annual President's Fish Off, giving Chad bragging rights for another year. And well, I just couldn't let this one go because not only did Jeff disqualify himself in that tournament by being late, but he also missed a lot of fish. So he gets our Best Misses of the Year award. Check this out.
Oh no. That's a good one too. Please stay on. Oh, please stay on there. Please stay on there. There was a nice fish. Broke off. That was a big fish. I just broke it at the top. That was a big fish. He's there. The bush is shaking. These Mexican bass are tough. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think I got other issues.
That is 6th fish that he lost in the President's Fish-Off. And of course, had he only realized that all he needed to do was to show up to weigh-in on time, he would have won it instead of being beat by 0.56. Great year for Chad Potts. He is now the victorious number 1 super top Mac Daddy dog at Bass Champs because he won by 0.56. Incredible that not only did we have to penalize Chad by a pound, but Jeff got disqualified for being late. You know, President's Fish-Off is always great because it's the one time a year we all really get to kind of rib each other and have a lot of fun with it. I can't wait till our annual 4th President's Fish-Off. You know it's going to be a great one. Coming up next, we've got the best net jobs of 2005. Guys laying over their boat trying to get that precious black bass into the live well. Let's check it out.
He's right there, just dip all of it. Can you get him? Oh, dang. Still on there. Stay there, baby, stay there. Oh, God. Stay there. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, a lot of work for a little fish. He'll keep.
Oh, that might be a better fish. No, he turned acting funny. Excellent. Yeah. I can get him in the marker. Well, this is just foul hook. Did you see him? Huh?
Looks like about 3 pounds, 3.5.
Good catch, Bubba.
I thought Kevin Spahn was going to go in the water trying to get that one fish into the boat. I tell you, these guys will do anything to win a tournament, and I mean anything, which leads me into our next segment.
When the Skeeter Bass Champs television show returns, it's our most unusual catches. We'll find out what's on the other end of Rob Burns' line.
Holy moly!
Skeeter Bass Champs with Fishburne is brought to you by Skeeter, eat, sleep, fish. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Berkeley, catch more fish. Power pole. Swift, silent, secure. TECHRON. Expect more. James Wood Motors. Visit our family at James Wood in Decatur.
The Skeeter Bass Champs television show is back with the best of 2005 as Kevin Spahn tops our list of most unusual catches.
Yeah, that turtle. God. That turtle. Got him by the foot. See him now? Look at the size of that catfish. Well, I'm changing. Oh gosh, now what do I do? My theory is if you catch 50 little bass and stuff, then you can catch like a 25-pound catfish. Look at that.
These guys get the award for the best boat driver of the year, but I gotta tell you, I wouldn't try this at home.
Some of you may not realize what extreme measures some anglers will go through in order to win a bass tournament. Well, I told you the lake was low, and I was serious because obviously these guys didn't listen to me. Look at this. These guys tried to get into the river without a jet boat, with a regular boat, and obviously they missed a turn because if you'll take a look, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Well, probably not till next spring. You gotta be careful when you're running this skinny water because you may have an accident like this one right here. Obviously, if these guys had walked over here, they'd realize there was no water at all to get through.
Well, John McCalmont here, we're ready for the weigh-in for the Skeeters. 5 pounds, 2 ounces, yeah. You must be proud of your son today.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm proud of it.
Can you hear me?
Blah, 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 blah.